When it comes to solid throw combos, Luigi isn't the only one. Today, I'm gonna cover the wonderful things Donkey Kong can combo from his cargo throw, along with practical grab setups. But before we dive into it, it's important you know how to time an aerial cargo up throw properly. There are two methods. Method 1, once you've grabbed the opponent, press forward and DK will go into his cargo position. Then you want to hit jump while holding up, then press A. Make sure you wait at least 5 frames or 1/12 of a second after you've pressed jump before pressing A. If you press A too fast after you press jump, the jump will get cancelled. No worries if you're a bit late on the up throw at low to mid percents. Most combos will still connect without much issue, but at higher percents it'll become more strict. Method 2, which I personally prefer, is the same as method 1 except I use the second joystick to do my up throw and aerials, and my shoulder button to jump. I find that this method allows you to move forwards or backwards while throwing up much easier than method 1. With that explained, at low percents, there's a plethora of things you can combo from a cargo throw. One of the best ones is cargo up throw into back air. Make sure you are jumping forward with the cargo to get a better position. Why this follow-up is good is because there's an opportunity for a second follow-up. If you predict that your opponent is gonna jump, then do another back air immediately. And if you think they're gonna air dodge, wait for it, then punish with an aerial. A down air read can lead into a spike if done near the ledge, or put them in a pretty bad situation on the stage if they miss their tech. Against medium weights and fast fallers, cargo up throw into 2 back airs is guaranteed at around 20%, and if your timing is on point, cargo up throw into down air is guaranteed as well, at around 10% on fast fallers only. A few alternative follow-ups are grounded cargo up throw into up tilt or up smash on fast fallers, and cargo up throw into neutral air or up air, but it's better to not use up air at low percents to prevent it from staling. Just a note, it's important to perform the whole cargo throw sequence as quickly as possible in order to avoid the opponent from mashing out. As usual, you can look in the description afterwards for some details of the combos I talk about in this video. Once we get into the mid percent range, the strongest guaranteed follow-up DK can get is cargo up throw into forward air. Try to hit them at the top of the forward air since that's the highest damaging part. Now there is a crazy mix-up that can kill your opponent at the mid percent range, utilizing DK's 10 wind punch, which I learned from one of DK Will's videos, so shoutouts to him. For those who don't know, if you cancel DK's arm rotations as he's charging giant punch between 8 to 10 winds, the resulting knockback is increasingly greater than a full charge, which is 11 winds. With that said, if you have a 10 wind punch charged up, you can go for a cargo jump, and at the climax of your jump, up throw them, double jump, then press B twice to release your punch. This mix-up will kill them if they air dodge near you at mid percent. I would suggest to only go for this if you've completely mastered the timing and spacing, provided that you have a good feeling that your opponent is going to air dodge. What really makes DK's cargo throw shine is at high percents, but not too high. There's a golden percent range for each character that DK's cargo up throw into up air will kill at. For fast fallers, it'd be about 70 to 90%. For heavyweights, about 85 to 105%. For medium weights, about 80 to 90%. And finally, for lightweights, about 60 to 75%. At the higher end of these spectrums, it's important to release your up air at the highest point of DK's double jump in order to reach the opponent. On stages with platforms, this kill combo can work at even lower percents. Another wonderful thing about cargo up throw is that the angle in which the opponent can DI is rather small, so there's little need to read DI on your part. It's important to make sure you pay attention to your own percentage as well, because guaranteed follow-ups will connect at lower percents with respect to how much rage you have. Past the up air kill percent ranges, you won't be able to follow up with anything. Aside from simply flinging them away, you can go for a stage spike if you're near the ledge. To do this, first get your opponent into cargo position, walk towards the ledge, and the moment before you walk off, turn around. If done correctly, DK will turn around while falling off the stage, then just down throw them for a stage spike. Of course, this isn't guaranteed, since the opponent can tech the wall, but if they miss, then that's a stock. At really high percentages, jumping off stage with a cargo throw into a down throw will end the stock. It's important to keep in mind that when you hear me refer to the opponent's low, mid, and high percents, that each character is a bit different because of their weight and fall speed. For example, Jigglypuff's mid percent would be about 30 to 40%, while Bowser's mid percent would be around 60 to 70%. Of course, to do anything I've talked about so far, you'll first have to land a grab. So what are some good setups? A really straightforward one is simply DK's first jab. The tip of the jab will drag the opponent towards you, which can lead into a grab. There is, however, enough time for them to sidestep, jump, or sometimes jab at lower percents. But the higher the opponent's percentage, the more effective jab to grab is, since their window to escape decreases thanks to the increased airtime combined with hit stun. Because of this, from about 80% and onwards, jab to grab is guaranteed on medium and heavyweights. Another nifty grab setup is weak dash attack into grab. This only works from about 0 to 15%, but is guaranteed if you get it. DK's down tilt has good range, plus a chance of tripping, which can lead straight into a grab. At mid to high percents, an auto-cancelled neutral air can lead straight into a grab. To do this, short hop and time it so that DK's neutral air animation finishes right before he touches the ground. If done correctly, you should have no landing lag, and be able to dash right up for a grab. This auto-cancelled neutral air can true combo into a down tilt or jab at the mid-high percentage range as well. Well guys, that's all for today's video. With great power comes great responsibility, so have fun with this, and please don't use your cargo throw sparingly. With that said, I'll catch you in the next video.